Previously on Unscripted.
I don't have time to do fact checking.
Budget cuts on our show. We don't have our staff anymore to do that.
We had a staff at one point?
You're listening to Unscripted with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Okay, Skip, so today we're going to talk about the TV series called Rooster, which in Canada is available on Crave and in the United States is available on HBO. But before we get to that, there is, of course, something that's bugging me.
Things that bug me?
Let's hear it.
This actually happened recently, maybe 2 weeks ago. I went to the grocery store, and some grocery stores have a bakery section where they have tongs where you can serve yourself if you want a bagel or a bun or a croissant or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so this grocery store had that, and I wanted to get some bagels, but there was someone in front of me, and I was waiting patiently. There was a man with his young daughter. She was maybe 4 years old. I don't know. And she wanted to take, the bagel and put it in the bag. He was going to hold the bag and she was going to do it with the tongs. Those tongs are, they're a little challenging to use for an adult. So they're definitely challenging to use for a 4-year-old.
Sure. I mean, the chances of the bagel falling on the floor, it's like 50-50. Yeah.
So at one point, she gave up using the tongs and just grabbed a bagel with her hand.
Okay.
And then I think she started to bite it, but the dad took it out of her hand and put it in the bag.
Okay.
That's fine. Anyway, then they went to a different type of bagel. And again, she grabbed one with her hand. I know, put it in her mouth. I'm not sure if she bit down on it or not. And the dad took it and put it back in the bin. So the next person.
Oh, no.
I'm not kidding. And I wanted to say something, but I also didn't want to get onto social media, being that guy complaining about a 4-year-old. So I didn't say a word.
But you are that guy right now. But I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. That's wrong.
I did tell an employee what I witnessed, but the employee didn't see it happening. And of course, didn't do anything. I could have just gone and taken that bagel out myself and thrown it away or something, but I didn't do anything, and it was very frustrating to me.
Yeah, like he already saw that his kid took a bite or did something with a bagel, and then he's like, okay, well, keeping that one, we're putting it in our bag and taking it home. He didn't want to do that again. He just didn't want to pay for one more bagel, even though she manhandled it.
Well, at that point, I think he already had like a dozen. And didn't want 13. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Look. I've my kids are old now, but like I do remember the days when they were little. It can be very hard to like control everything your kid does, especially at that age. Like they want to touch everything, and everything that they touch, they want to put in their mouth. This is like a natural reaction for a little kid. But as a parent, and as a human being, like as George Costanza would say, we're living in a society. Like he should have took that bagel. He didn't have to pay for it if he doesn't want to. I get it. I understand that. He should have just put it on the side or done something with it or threw it on the floor, like so no one would take it, like something, right? Like not put it back. This is really bad. This is not what bugs you. Like this is really bad. Yeah.
So I know you're compiling a list of these and trying to come up with solutions for each one of them. I don't know what the solution is for this one, but
I mean the solution.
Don't let people serve themselves.
Yeah. And it's funny because since COVID, a lot of those serve yourself things kind of went away. Like they don't exist anymore. They're actually a little bit tricky to find things like this, Stuff's usually bagged up. If you want to buy bagels, you buy 6, you buy 12, in a grocery store, I'm saying. No, I don't know what the solution is. I think maybe the solution would have been for you, and I know you don't want to be that guy, in quotation marks, but maybe to go up to him very politely and say, just say, look, I know it's tough with little kids, but like I don't think you should have put that back in the bin, type of thing. Like I don't know how I would have said it, but
A lot of things were going through my head in a matter of seconds. So
yeah, I mean, you're never gonna. Yeah, and you don't want to end up on. You don't want to end up on Twitter as like, man accosts child in grocery store. That's what it would have been, right?
Over bagel.
Over bagel. Yeah, exactly. That's
it's like the episode, the Marble Rye episode.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Okay. Do we have any listener mail?
Mailbag.
We do. We have listener mail. As you recall, very interesting episode last time. We did bands that had the word "the" in it, but not the first word.
Right.
So Derek from Montreal said, "Great episode," and he suggested 2 bands: Temple of the Dog.
Good one.
Good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. And Lovely the Band, which apparently is all one word, but it does have "the" in it.
I really like that band, actually. I'm upset that I forgot about them.
You know Lovely the Band?
Yes, I do. They have a few good songs.
He agreed with me that Toad the Wet Sprocket and Hootie and the Blowfish should be he agreed with my 1-2. Let's just say.
Okay.
Hallen in Toronto suggested Foster the People, which I thought maybe was going to be on your list, to be honest. But
again, I'm upset at myself for forgetting that one. I needed to make a longer list. I only had 5. Yeah. I should have had 10.
Mark from Philadelphia had a lot of problems with our episode, with me in general.
Okay.
He said, "Your show, your rules, but I have issues."
I'd like to hear this.
He really nitpicked a lot of stuff. Megan the Stallion doesn't technically have the word "the" because it's the THEE.
Right.
That's how she spells
good point.
it. But I let him know that's why she was only in my honorable mention. Excluding Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Bruce Hornsby in the Range, like we said, where we had the name of the singer and the band.
Right.
He said, but how could you include Hootie and the Blowfish? But I thought I explained that in the episode that the origin of the band name of Hootie and the Blowfish is not Hootie and the band are not the Blowfish. It's something else completely.
Right. It's
other friends they had in college that was their name.
Mm-hmm.
He suggested George Thorogood and the Destroyers and Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, which I also said we excluded those. I thought I was clear about that we didn't use the real name, so I'm not sure why he still suggested those. And then he also said the shouldn't be allowed because the is the first word. And look, I have to agree with that. And he doesn't know what happened as we were recording because literally I could play the outtake. Literally we were okay, so we're gonna start. You basically said, okay, we're gonna start now. And yeah, he goes and we were going over the ground rules and we were clear. And then you're so for example, the is not going to be in either of our lists. I'm oh no, they're number 5 on my list. And you were oh, okay. So basically, I still included the even though they shouldn't have been included, but just because we had pushed record and I didn't want to start tinkering with my list. That's basically what happened with the.
So did Mark eliminate 3 of your top 5 just now?
I think so. Yes. The he said it shouldn't have been counted. No, yeah, you're right. Maybe all mine don't count. I don't know. and then. Not exactly a listener mail, but Jason from Montreal, who we read his emails often, actually saw him and his wife Marnie this week in person.
So a hand-delivered mail.
Oh yeah, so we were talking about the podcast, and they both expressed how much they love our show. So I just wanted to thank Jason and Marnie both for listening to the show every episode. It means a lot. And we were just talking, and Jason said that his favorite episode of ours is the episode of our apartment stories, the stories when we were roommates and the crazy stuff that happened. And I definitely agree. And I started telling him a little bit more behind the scenes of the story about how we listened to our neighbor's phone conversation through our stereo. And I gave him a little bit more information, actually the name of the person, we didn't divulge, but he might know her. So I just thought it was really funny. It was great to see them in person. I hadn't seen Jason in quite a few years, and so that was really nice.
That is very cool.
Yeah, that's all the listener mail.
Okay, we'll be right back after this to talk about the TV show Rooster.
You're listening to Unscripted.
I'm Joseph DeMedictis.
And I'm Ross Acetrullo.
And we're doing this podcast so we don't have to go home and get a real job.
Exactly.
That's right. And we're doing it to tell you about our pursuit of the dreams we've had since being a kid, being young, trying to get into the entertainment industry. Us, we're mid-career, sort of. We're kind of halfway broken in a way, but we both have these big dreams and big goals.
Aspirations, really.
For our careers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This podcast is about the journey through the industry, trying to make it, but trying not to have to give up.
So listen to our podcast on all the places you might listen to a podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have our own YouTube channel where you can watch the video version. All the links can be found at you'llnevermakeit.ca. Here's hoping we do.
And now, back to Unscripted.
Okay, Skip, we're back.
So, Rooster, Crave and HBO starring Steve Carell. It's funny because you mentioned it on an episode as something that you kind of had started watching, and you didn't really say if you liked it or not, but like, I think if you mentioned it means you kind of must have liked it somewhat.
Right.
I saw the commercial for this show often.
It was on a lot during, I think, maybe the playoffs or something. I don't know what.
Well, because what ends up happening is if you watch any shows, like we watch a lot of sports. So
Yeah.
if you watch TSN, which is Bell Media, you tend to see a lot of commercials for whatever's coming up on Crave.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. So I did see the commercial for Rooster millions of times, and I had no intention, zero, minus 100. Like, I had no intention of watching this show. I was like, this doesn't look good. I don't know what this is about. This doesn't, what is the commercial? Like, what is this even is? Like, I really was not going to watch it. And then you said that you started watching it, and I was like, okay, maybe maybe. And then Derek, who we mentioned in the listener mail, told me that he's watching it and that he really liked it. And then he told me that all I needed to know, he's like, do you know it's the same producers as Ted Lasso and Shrinking? I'm like, oh. Then all of a sudden, like my whole like perception of the show changed. Right?
I didn't know that, by the way, until later on.
So I thought it's just going to be some stupid comedy. That's really what I thought it was going to be. But then when I heard that the executive producer was Bill Lawrence, who's, like I said, it's Shrinking and Ted Lasso, obviously shows that I really like. Then I was like, okay, now I could get it. I knew kind of the vibe it was going to bring because those shows have this different kind of vibe. It's not like slapstick comedy, although this show does border on that in many times with a lot of stupid stuff. But yeah, that was how I entered the realm of Rooster. What do you think about the show?
So I really liked it, and I could tell from the first 5 minutes of the first episode that it wasn't going to be one of those stupid comedies. Just the way it's shot and the dialogue and stuff like that. I also happen to like many of the things that Steve Carell has done. I don't know why that is. It just is. So that was also one of the attractions for me. And it's also, I mean, the storyline is different than other shows I've seen. You know, it's hard to come up with different stories, different, I guess, premises for shows these days because, like, everything's been done, right?
Yeah.
But here you have a situation where there's this professor working at a university or a college, and then her dad happens to be an author, and the school wants to hire the dad, but of course the dad doesn't want to work there, and I don't think his daughter wants him to work there. Anyway, I'm telling you basically the whole thing. By the way, we didn't mention, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the show, don't listen to this episode.
Right.
Yeah, so it was just an interesting topic, and again, the dialogue was good, the writing was good, the characters, most of them were good, so I liked the show.
It's a character-based show. That's like the same idea with Ted Lasso, Shrinking. It's like the story doesn't always matter necessarily, the plot points. It's the interactions of the characters, and then over the course of time, you start to like the characters more and more, right? So, like, I read that critics of Ted Lasso, Shrinking, and now this show, it has like its own genre now. It's called Hangout TV. It's just like shows that you can put on and it kind of makes you feel good, you know, like it's like feel good type of shows. Or they also call it found family, meaning like you kind of fall in love with the characters and you're like invested in their lives, even the minutia of the nonsense that they're going through, right? So like I really love, like I like that style of show. I just think it's like there's so many shows with like heroes and villains, and we don't necessarily need to have heroes and villains to have like a plot anymore. Like, why do we have to have a hero and a villain to have a plot, right? Like, why can't it just be like people overcoming things in their lives that happen, or getting better, or learning about themselves, or like this is like what the show is about, right? So
right, and I've always said to you, like, you know, when you ask me about movies that I like or don't like, I've always said to you, I like movies where what happens in the movie could happen in real life.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's this.
And what happens in this show, pretty much everything could happen in real life. That's just why I don't watch, you know, Star Wars and those types of movies.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is, the main part of the story, like obviously you talked about how it's the relationship between the father-daughter, how, you know, he wants to be there for her, she doesn't want him at the college, and like that's one part of it. But like the other main part of the thing is that like Katie, the daughter, her husband cheated on her with a student. Now the student's pregnant. So like her marriage is falling apart, and then Archie, the guy, her ex, is like wants to get back with her, doesn't want to get back with her, doesn't know what to do, and like he's overall like very unlikable in the first place. But like this is like real life, right?
And Katie's parents' marriage also fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, that's also, they don't never explain exactly what happened with their marriage, other than that it's just they're not together and that Greg's still not over her. Well, maybe he is at the end, but he's not, he never really got over her at all, which is a big part of his trauma in his life, let's say. Also, we didn't really mention that Greg is like a best-selling author who is apparently made quite a bit of money. Like he's well off from his job of being a writer, but like his books sell well, but like critics think he's like no good, right? Like he calls them, what is it called? Beach books, right? They're beach novels. They're books you read at the beach, right?
I don't remember what they're called, but I know that the main character in his books is Rooster. So
yeah.
So the students that he's teaching, they always ask, are you writing about yourself? Are you Rooster? And he always says that he's not.
Right. But I mean, it's loosely based on him and maybe what he would want to be in like a dream world. Like Rooster is like some kind of James Bond, from what I understand, you know, like, right. Like, yeah. I mean, I love Steve Carell. I think he's super talented, very funny. Obviously, he brings so much to the part of Greg Russo in terms of just the comedic, like his delivery, like everything he does. Carell, like he's just so funny and so perfect in his delivery of everything, you know. He could be like slapstick at times, he could be serious at times, he could just be funny in a weird way, you know, like very subtly. He's just really, really good. And then the rest of the cast is all pretty good, especially like the guy who plays the president of the university.
Yes.
John McGinley. He's really funny because he's such an idiot.
His name's Walter Mann, and yes, I do like that character.
He's such an idiot. Like, I'm like, God, why do you have to like bring everybody into your own little personal sauna? Like, what is that? Like, it's so bizarre.
It is bizarre, yes. And one person went in there with their jacket and everything, like at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little much. He
also has like a tub with a bunch of ice in it that he goes in afterwards.
Yeah, he goes in the hot sauna and then he goes in the cold tub. Like,
apparently it's good for your body, but whatever.
Oh, that's what he said. So like, as much as like we have like characters that are like pretty, I don't want to say like they're funny and they're good in their way. So you have like Steve Carell is Greg. You have the other professor in the university, Dylan, played by Danielle Detweiler, who is like, she's more the conscience of the show, I would say. Like she's much more of a serious character. Then you have Archie, the ex-husband, boyfriend, the guy who's cheating on Katie. You have Katie. But then you have these other like characters that are really dumb. This is where the show differs to me from some of the others, in that you have some characters that are actually really like, it's it's a little bit over the top. Like the cop, the university cop.
Yeah, I actually like him. His name is Officer Donnie Mullins.
I liked him too, and I thought he was really, really funny. But like the joke about him losing his gun everywhere he goes, like
that got old.
Like pretty quick. The other character that's also over the top is the hockey coach, who's drunk.
I didn't have time for him.
No, me too. I'm like, I could have done without him at all. And then the other character who was in the show who was really, really funny, who I liked a lot, was Mo, who plays Sunny's roommate. Sunny is the grad student who's pregnant. So Mo is her roommate, and she just can't stand Archie. So anytime Archie like comes in the room, she's very open about like to tell her friend Sunny, like, what are you doing with this loser? Get rid of him. It doesn't matter that you're pregnant. Just get rid of him. Like, and she insults Archie right to his face at every moment. Like, she's actually really, really, like, she's funny. She's a comedian. Like, I don't know if you know who the actress, Robbie Hoffman.
I didn't know that.
She's a comedian, yeah.
No, of course I like Greg. I love his character. I like how he gets into trouble with Officer Donnie Mullins all the time. I like how he gets into trouble at school for saying something that's politically incorrect or whatever.
But some of the stuff that he says that's politically incorrect is like, it's not really.
I know.
Sometimes
I know.
I'm like, okay,
there's nothing wrong with it, and yet every time it happens, they have to have a hearing to determine what his punishment is going to be.
But it just goes to show that the president of the university and even the other staff there also realize how stupid this little hearing is, and they're just like, okay, forget it.
Correct.
You know?
It's
like they're going through the motions. Yeah.
I like the relationship between Greg and Crystal, the president's executive assistant.
How did you pronounce her name?
Crystal. Is that not how it's pronounced?
Well, I mean, the joke is that the joke of the show is that the president calls her Crystal.
Oh.
And then he's like, is there a T in there? And she's like, yes. And then he looks at her, like Greg, the first day, and he's like, okay, Crystal, but like there's a T. Okay. But then you found out that her name is Crystal, like proper Crystal. That is her name.
Yeah.
But that her first day on the job, the idiot president called her Crystal, and then she never corrected him. So that's what everybody calls her.
Okay. Well, I call her Crystal.
Yeah. She's the best character in the show.
She is. She really is.
Yeah.
And then, so I like their relationship. And then I wasn't expecting that she happened to be the mom of the student that Greg was teaching. Obviously, I didn't know that was coming.
That was the funniest moment of the show. So Greg's getting food out of the fridge, like half naked, and like he's in Crystal's house. And then Tommy is there, and he's like, Greg, what are you doing here? You know, like, and then he realizes it's Crystal's kid, and like, oh my God. And like Crystal's screaming, come back to bed, you know, like from the other room.
And of course, so they end their relationship after that. And Crystal the next day goes into Greg's office and tells him, these are the ground rules. This is what you're allowed to do. This is what you're not allowed to do.
It's basically so funny.
Greg can't even look at her, can't talk to her, can't be in the same room as her. And yet she won't leave his office.
Right. Exactly. And then she goes into like that's like actually one of the funnier parts. She goes into like a depression. So she's literally just sitting at her desk with her head down for the whole day. Like she can't function. She can't function the whole day. And then the president of the university, like, he relies on her because she basically does everything because he's an idiot. And he's like, are you gonna give me my schedule, my meetings for the day? And she's just like, no. And then he's like, okay. And then he misses all his meetings because he doesn't know where to go.
He doesn't know anything.
Like he can't like turn on his computer, look at his own schedule. Like he can't do that, I guess.
No, he needs to be spoon fed.
Yeah. Later after, you're like, yeah, I missed all my meetings today. Like I didn't, because Crystal didn't give me my schedule. Like, okay.
So,
but yes, I do agree that Crystal was my favorite character in the show.
So my favorite line from the whole show.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So when Sunny speaks to Katie for the first time, Sunny is the student that's pregnant.
Yeah.
When Sunny speaks to Katie for the first time, Katie
says,
good
conversation.
Don't I know you from f***ing my husband?
Yeah. But then the thing is, like, but it was very brave of Sunny to go up to her and talk to her.
Of course, yes.
So actually she had like a legit conversation with her, and I think weirdly, Katie feels bad for her, right? She had sex with her husband, and now she's pregnant, and she knows that her husband's probably not going to be with her. Like, I don't know. Like, the whole dynamic is screwed up, right? And in the end, it seems like Sunny's made the right decision. She's not going to be with Archie.
Archie blew it, actually, because Archie told Sunny that he wanted to go back to his wife. And then when he goes back to his wife Katie says, I don't want you anymore.
Right. Katie finally came to her senses, right? Now, we didn't really talk much about Archie, but Archie, played by Phil Dunster, he's really good because, like I told you, you didn't even realize, like, he's Jamie Tart from Ted Lasso.
I know. I didn't even realize this till after I finished watching all the episodes, and then you told me afterwards.
I mean, the only thing they have in common is that they're British, but like they are complete opposites. Even like his British accent, right? Because in this show, Archie has a very like proper, educated British accent, whereas in Jamie Tart and Ted Lasso, he's like street British accent, like uneducated. Like it's really like I thought he did great because he's really so unlikable and he's such a moron.
Another part we didn't really talk about that I liked when Greg became the coach of the hockey team.
I knew you would like that. Anytime any show has anything about hockey, you're like, I like that show.
Right. And I have to say, I'm impressed with Greg's skating ability.
Yeah, he looked like he could skate a bit. Yeah.
I don't know if it was really him or like a stunt double or something, but the guy could skate. And then he gives that inspirational speech in the locker room before the game, and they actually win.
But was it really his inspirational speech, or was it more the other coach that basically said, go tear their heads off? You know, the old coach.
Who knows?
I
didn't even mention possibly the most important thing about the show. The theme music, which is sung by Michael Stipe. I like that song a lot.
I had to look it up because I was like, what is this song? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, Michael Stipe. Like, but actually it doesn't really sound like him. I wasn't like...
I really like the theme music. And I could list you, in fact, I've written them down, about 10 songs that were used in the show that were all amazing. So can I read them off to you?
Yeah, the soundtrack is fantastic. First of all, it's very like alternative rock for most of the time.
Yes,
they do throw in some songs that are like these classic songs. Like there are some songs that seem out of place for the alt vibe, but overall, like, yeah, go ahead, let's hear the songs because I knew you were going to love the soundtrack.
So I mean, like if this was a CD that you could purchase, I would purchase it. New Order, Age of Consent, Fun Boy 3, they did Our Lips Are Sealed, which is not their song, but they did their own version of it. Yaz, Only You, Violent Femmes, Kiss Off, In Excess, Beautiful Girl, Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline, Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen, R.E.M., Everybody Hurts, Erasure, A Little Respect, The Verve, Lucky Man, Creed, Higher, The Ramones, Blitzkrieg Bop, and The Pretenders, 2,000 Miles.
It's a great. The soundtrack is fantastic.
So even if you didn't like the show, you would hear good music every episode.
Exactly. So I looked up where it's filmed because obviously when you watch the show, you're like, oh, this is filmed at like some kind of New England college, like some quaint little New England college.
That's what I thought
Vermont, Massachusetts, take your pick, right? It's filmed at Pacific University in California.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, it's actually technically called University of the Pacific. So that's like amazing like little feat of television magic because you would never in a million years think that this is filmed in California. Although when it does snow in the show, it's very obviously fake snow.
I was going to say, wasn't there snow in one episode?
Yeah, but it looks like really fake snow.
I'll have to go watch it again.
My question as I watched this was, how many students are at this school? It seems like every student is, all the same kids are in all the same classes, and there's only a small number of teachers, or are they just showing us a little bit of like a slice of the college?
Because I think they're just showing us a little bit.
Yeah, it seems that it's pretty small.
Because you do see other random people walking around in the background.
Yeah, you do. Let me tell you something about Greg's class, the class that he's teaching about writing.
Yeah.
If I was a student at this school, I would definitely want to take this class because I guarantee you it's like a guaranteed A and you don't have to do a lot of work.
I mean, I don't know about that because I can't write.
okay, maybe it's just my own personal opinion then. I think just Steve Carell really makes the show. I think he's so good in this whole role. Like that whole episode where he goes partying with the other students, like it's pretty freaking wild.
I was actually nervous watching that episode. I thought, oh no, something bad's going to happen and then he's going to get fired.
I need to mention this because my wife asked me to mention, like, her favorite part of the show, it's recurring, is all the parts with like the motorized scooter. Like the fact that he's driving this motorized bike, I should say. Like he has this motorized bike, and then he wants to give it to Katie, and then the president wants to drive it, and everybody's like fascinated by this motorized bike. You know, like it seems like, and the whole thing is, he even admits it saves him like 4 minutes to get to work.
Yeah, because he lives pretty close to school, does he not?
Like they show his apartment, the gates of the college are right in front of him. Right? So he says it does barely saves him any time. So like I just thought that was something. So like that's all my notes of the show.
I have only one, I guess, minor complaint. The last episode was somewhat predictable. Yeah. Because the whole season, you know, Greg's saying like, I'm just doing this for one semester and then I'm leaving. And so that if he leaves, there's no second season.
Right.
But then the last episode, and they even throw him like a going away party. And then he says to the president, what happens if I want to teach again next semester? So that was kind of predictable. What wasn't predictable is that the new president of the school is going to be his ex-wife. Right. And that's all because she was schmoozing the guy that broke his hand, you know, the other rich guy who we barely saw. Like I don't know if you realize this, like you're looking at me puzzled, but like there's like this super rich donor, like he's in it like a couple of minutes. He broke his hand and like, you know, he goes for breakfast. They go for breakfast with Katie and with her mother and her father. And then she leaves the breakfast because she goes for breakfast with another guy. Yeah. Right? That's the guy. So she's the whole time the mom's conniving to become the president of the school. Like it was behind the scenes, but it was there if you noticed it, right? So that the fact that she became the president really wasn't so like shocking when you they gave you some clues. Clearly I missed all those clues. Well, only at the end you're like, oh, okay, she was schmoozing the donors. That's how she became the president, right? So what's going to happen to the other president, the guy with the sauna? Like, is he out? They can't just get him out. I mean, he's one of the better characters, so I don't want him to be out. Yeah. I mean, just to tell you, like, the show has been picked up for season 2. Like, oh, yes, confirmed. I'm aware. I am aware, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it'll just be the same. It'll be more adventures at, what is the name of the college anyways? Ludlow, I think. Yeah, so Ludlow, yeah. Like, it's just going to be more of, like, the adventures of these people who are intertwined. Their relationships are kind of all connected, you know, in a sense, at Ludlow College. Another character that was very underrated, Josh, and I just don't want to forget, was Sonny's father. Is that the one who's walking the dog? Yeah. So how does Greg know the dog? I never understood that. Because it used to be his daughter's dog. Oh, I didn't know that. Like Katie and Archie had a dog. Yes. And now Katie left and the dog is still with Archie. But then Sonny's dad was visiting Sonny with Archie, so he was walking the dog. That's how I understand. Okay. See, I completely missed all of that. Right? So in a way, Greg knows the dog better than the guy who's walking the dog. Like, right. I didn't understand that whole scene, but now it makes sense. But like the dad is really like funny because you expect him to come in and be like very judgmental. Like they're setting you up for the fact that this Asian woman, Sonny, is going to have this very like Hollywood stereotypical overbearing Asian parent who's going to be like, you have to get good grades, you have to get a good job, how could you have gotten pregnant? And right away he's the opposite. He comes in, he hugs Archie, I'm gonna be a grandfather, and he's all happy, and he's just like happy-go-lucky, this guy, and everyone loves him. And then later on, Katie says to Greg, like, is there anything else you want to admit to me? Like, because she's mad at him that he like got her the job, helped get her the job at the school in the first place. There's a whole backstory about like all the things where he interfered in her life without her knowing. And she's like, is there anything else you want to tell me? And I forget the character's name of
Sonny's dad. I don't remember his name. Doesn't matter. And he's like, I just need to tell you that I've been playing online backgammon with Sonny's dad. This is what he admits to.
See, I don't even remember that part.
She's like, online backgammon? He's like, yeah, he's a really nice guy and we play. He goes, but like, if you're just playing online, how do you know he's a really nice guy? He's like, sometimes we chat in the app. You can chat, and then he goes, and sometimes we FaceTime. Like, so she's looking at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's a really nice guy. So like, I just thought like like the kind of humor is like it's very, very well done. Now, you're going to think that, like, I love this show and I absolutely love it and it's going to be one of my favorite shows of the entire year. It's not. I think it's a perfectly good show and I liked it and I would watch season 2. But, like, do I give it, like, the highest possible marks? No. I just think it's good.
I also think it's good, and I haven't determined what my favorite show of the year is going to be yet because we're only in May.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's in the running.
All right, so like I said, good show, and I would definitely recommend. You?
I agree. Good show. I would recommend people watch it, and it remains to be seen where it ranks in my top shows of the year. We'll be right back after this with some final thoughts.
You're listening to Unscripted.
Hey everyone, Skip here. I'm really excited to invite all of you to follow my new account at Skip Cooks on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be sharing my love of cooking with recipes in the form of 1-minute music videos, all set to some of my favorite songs. Don't miss out, follow me, and let's have some fun in the kitchen.
Unscripted with Skip and Josh is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you listen to the show through Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. To interact with the show, send an email to skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. Follow the show on Twitter and go to Facebook to like the show page. And now, some final thoughts from the guys.
All right, I do have a couple of final thoughts, one more important than the others. I know we don't like to do self-promotion, but I'm going to promote you.
Okay.
Our good friend, Joe DeBenedictis, you hear his promo for his podcast very often during our episodes. He did it's crazy because it took like almost a whole year for this to come out. I don't understand how you filmed this with him last year or almost last year. I don't know. It was last summer, so it could have been May or June. I don't remember. Maybe you do. So anyways, people will remember Josh talked about coming to Montreal with his friend Joe, and they spent 24 hours, 48 hours going to a whole bunch of different poutine restaurants and tasting every possible kind of poutine in Montreal. So finally, Joe has put out his, there's 2 episodes on YouTube of all your adventures in Montreal with the poutines. And I'm going to put the links to those episodes in the episode description. It's really well done. I'm in like episode 1 for like 5 seconds. So that's kind of cool.
You made a cameo.
But like you kind of steal the show. I think especially in the second episode, I thought you were really, really funny. Like actually, there's a couple of really funny parts with you. Like when you're explaining to the guy at St. Viator Bagel how to freeze the bagels properly. Like I thought that was really good. And then also in the first part, last year, you told this story about how you went to this karaoke bar.
Yes.
And how the guy was like
taking bribes.
You were only going to be able to get picked to sing if like you bribed the guy.
Yeah.
And you talked about it on our show, and you're like, I don't know if Joe has the audio of it or what, and like you were like, I don't know if we're ever going to know the whole story. Anyways, that whole thing is in the episode. Like you see and hear you talking to the guy, and you're like, how do I get on? And the guy literally says, you bribed me. You give me $20. You bribe me. I'm like, man, this is wild. It's wild. It's funny because you had already talked about it, and now like I saw it with my own eyes, right? So it was pretty funny.
Well, so I didn't know it was going to be included in the episode. That's first thing.
Yeah.
And just to let you know why you were able to hear it is because I was mic'd up, right? I was mic'd up basically the whole weekend, and the guy I'm talking to, the owner of the bar, doesn't know that I've got a microphone.
Right.
So
I thought it was really good. So the whole episode's really enjoyable, especially if you like Montreal food, poutine, like the stuff you eat. But like you go to St. Viator Bagel, obviously you go to Schwartz's. It's not just there's a couple of non-poutine places, Orange Julep. So it's a fun watch, and like I'll put the links. Like I said, I'll put the links, and I think everybody should watch it.
It was fun to do, and just so everyone's aware, Joe and Justin do all the work. All I did was show up.
Yeah, and eat. Yeah,
and eat and talk, which I can do without practicing.
Right. I don't know. Like, so you don't watch the NBA. I know you don't really watch the NBA.
No, but I know what's going on.
Yeah. So like I usually get like pretty well invested in the NBA playoffs. I've never watched less NBA playoffs than I have this year. I'm totally out. I don't care. I don't care what's happening. Even when the Celtics were playing, and I'm a Celtics fan, I didn't watch every game. I sort of was like half in on them. I didn't really care what was going on. I'm interested in the West Final now because Wembanyama is such like an interesting story because he's really so good. So like that's interesting. But like overall, the NBA is really not so good, and it's kind of boring. Like the NBA is boring to watch. And I don't know if you read this quote. Steve Kerr came out a few weeks ago. I wrote this down like a few weeks ago. This is when the Warriors maybe got eliminated like from the playoffs. It's like right at the beginning of the playoffs. Steve Kerr came out and said he thinks that the NBA should consider getting rid of the three-point shot.
That's very interesting considering that his team won 4 championships basically thanks to the three-point shot.
Yeah. And not only that, he himself as a player would never have been in the NBA if it wasn't for the three-point shot. That's literally the only thing he could do on the court. Steve Kerr was shoot threes, right? So
but would that make it better? People wouldn't take 3-point shots, but then you'd have obviously a lot of under the basket jostling and all kinds of stuff. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
The quote is, I just wonder, and I don't know if this would work or not, if we got rid of the 3-point line. If we could diversify the way everybody would play and create a lot of different creative solutions to basketball. This is what he said. So like, I understand what he's getting at because the NBA is unwatchable right now because there's literally no offensive flow. It's like spread the court, one guy in the middle, 4 guys around the 3-point line, and they pass it around. There's no, I don't want to say there's no skill because obviously there's skill in shooting the 3-point shots, but there's actually no strategy. Like it's all you have to do is just like step back 3. Like there's no offensive game plan. Like there's no offensive coordination. There's no strategy. It's just like, let's just shoot threes, right? This is what they do most of the game, right? It's really like, it's hard to watch. It's like the NBA is just one big 3-point shooting contest now. So
right. And so maybe the answer is not to get rid of it, but maybe you move the 3-point line further back to make it more challenging because where it is now, it appears to me that, I don't know, half the guys in the league, if not more, can hit that 3 like with their eyes closed.
Absolutely.
So you move it back and maybe it makes it more challenging. And then maybe some teams say, oh, well, now that it's here, maybe I won't attempt the 3. Maybe I have to find a different way to score.
Yeah, like at the beginning when the 3-point line, when it seemed farther, when guys weren't as good as shooting, it was a high-risk shot. So you only took it was high risk, high reward. Now the 3-point shot it's not high risk, right? Like I saw an analyst on ESPN and they have the stats. The 2 most effective shots that every team tries to get, like the 2 most like highest percentage shots that you could do are dunks and corner threes. This is what teams are trying to do.
See, that's the problem. You can't really move the corner one further back because it's pretty much all the way at the baseline.
That's right. Yeah. So I don't know what the solution is, but the NBA has a problem, and they know. I don't know if they know it, but like viewership is down. You could look at all the ratings of the NBA. Less people watch. People really don't care about regular season NBA games, and I see why. It's not a good product.
I mean, of course, the other problems are the tanking and the load management.
Tanking. The tanking is absurd. Like it's reached new
levels.
Although,
to be honest, I don't have a problem with tanking. Like even if it was my team that I was a fan of and they were losing to try to get a high pick, I'd be okay with that. And it's happened in other sports. Like, before the Astros won all those World Series, they were terrible. And before the Cubs won their World Series, they were terrible. So it's not just basketball that does that.
And you can't just lose and become good. There's many teams that were terrible and terrible and terrible, and then they don't draft properly and they don't develop properly and they stay bad, right? Just because you finish last doesn't mean you're automatically gonna
Exactly.
I mean, in the NBA it is easier because you only need one guy sometimes to turn a team around, right? One first or overall pick could change the course of your whole franchise.
Absolutely.
Right?
Look at San Antonio right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's definitely worth tanking to get Victor Wembanyama. So
Yeah. Enough talk about the NBA. I just thought Steve Kerr's quote was interesting. I do want to tell you about a show that I started watching. I'm only 2 episodes in. It's on Netflix. It's called The Burrows. You're not going to watch it. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm not recommending this to you because it's totally not for you.
Thank you.
But I am recommending it to other people. I kind of want to hear what people are saying. It's from the same producers as Stranger Things.
Oh, I already don't like it.
Yeah, so so it's called the Burrows, which is the name of this old age community where these senior citizens live. It's called the Burrows, and it's basically like Stranger Things except old people instead of kids.
Okay.
Like this is how I would describe it.
It's a good description.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes in, and like I'm kind of liking it. I think it's enough to keep me want to watch, but like I'll let you know like when I finish if it's worth it or not.
Okay, great.
All right. Awesome discussing Rooster. Again, I'd recommend people go watch it. I think it's a really worthwhile show to watch, and I'll talk to you next time.
Have a great week.